Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. We have some breaking news coming out of Oxford, Mississippi today as Rashad Amos has officially flipped his commitment from the Colorado Buffaloes to the Ole Miss Rebels. And frankly, what's been certainly an interesting kind of portal experience, if you will, for Rashad Amos. Obviously started with a commitment to Mississippi State, flipped it to the Colorado Buffaloes, and now finally looks like he's ultimately going to play this 2024 season for the Ole Miss Rebels in a ad that's, frankly, kind of important, especially with Logan Diggs kind of probably needing some time to get back to full speed as the season approaches. And again, Ole Miss is kind of building out a more diverse set of skills in their running back room. Guys like Henry Parrish, Ulysses Bentley, obviously very athletic, good in space. And then you want a couple of guys who can obviously be more of those hammers, like what Logan Diggs will be, like certainly what Rashad Amos will be. So I think this is an important get to kind of round out that skill set in the Ole Miss running back room. And before we get too deep into the player that Rashad Amos is and what he brings to this Ole Miss program, just wanted to thank all the Ole Miss fans just covering this portal with all you guys and kind of interacting and seeing what you guys think. And especially as Ole Miss kind of frankly looks to be swinging for the fences. I mean, a team that is adding the type of talent that you need to add if you want to win a national title. And this team certainly looks like they might have the capability to be a playoff team and possibly be in the mix for a national title. So obviously going to be super exciting to cover the season with everyone. Love all the interaction. So if you do enjoy the content, please consider liking, interacting, commenting, subscribing. All those things really do mean the world. You guys have been so supportive. It's been awesome covering this team this offseason. It'll be certainly really fun to cover them once this season kicks off. So without further ado, just wanted to get into quickly a little bit of thoughts on what Rashad Amos is. I mean, you kind of think about what Rashad Amos, he is a hammer. He's a hammerback. That's, make no mistake about what he's going to try to be doing. And again, I think that's important because you obviously have guys like Parrish and Ulysses Bentley, who we kind of talked about being those guys who want to operate in space. And that's an important part of what Ole Miss wants to do. Obviously, the way Lane Kiffin wants to play offense, it's to play with a lot of pace, spread it out, get his guys in space to make plays. But with that, you also want to be able to run the ball physically. And I think that's something people kind of underrate with how Ole Miss runs their offense and how Lane Kiffin's always done it is, yes, you throw the ball a lot. Yes, you play fast. Yes, you do some of those things. But at the end of the day, he's always wanted to be able to play physical. And you even saw with what they did with Quinshon Judkins at times. And I mean, being able to run inside was a big part of, again, making it harder for teams to be able to play with their kind of spread offense and play with them in space. So to add in a guy in Rashad Amos who, again, I think can bring that style, that physical grinding style to this offense, I think it's huge, especially as I kind of mentioned, Logan Diggs is still working his way back from that offseason surgery. So I think you start to look at this Ole Miss running back room. I mean, clearly you have a lot of talent. I still think, or we certainly think, Ulysses Bentley is going to be the guy. I love the way he played last year. I think, again, for as much of a smaller back as he possibly is, or maybe doesn't give the appearance of that pounder, that physical back, I mean, he runs the ball really well inside, really good contact balance, and he's got that ability to make those kind of big plays, I think, for Ole Miss. So I certainly kind of expect him to take not necessarily the lion's share, but I would be surprised if he wasn't the leading ball carrier, at least the guy who got the most touches, whether that's through the air, whether that's on the ground in this Ole Miss running back room. But I think one thing you love is you have a ton of depth. And again, when you think about what Ole Miss likes to do and how fast they like to play, I think that depth is a key part of what they want to do. And I think, frankly, there were times last year where it felt like Judkins was too much of the guy and they relied too much on him. And obviously didn't have maybe the year he had as a true freshman. So to have more of a deep room, have a room that, again, you can split the carries up, split the passes up, split the plays up, allows Ole Miss to play really, really fast, play physical, and do all those things that Ole Miss wants to do. I think you really like what you have. Obviously, you even have some guys like Ja'Cory Merritt and Dominique Thomas who, again, you throw them into the mix. That's 6 really dependable running backs. I think guys who you're really comfortable with giving touches to, and guys who have frankly played decent amount of football. Dominique Thomas being the least experienced, but if you go into some of those Clemson games, I think you'd be impressed by his skill set. I mean, you even look at that Notre Dame game. He only had 3 carries, but those 3 carries, I think you saw things. You saw that contact balance. You saw the understanding how to run the ball, read his holes, and pick up, churn up yards, especially against really good Notre Dame defense. So again, obviously Ja'Cory Merritt's played a ton of ball. Dominique Thomas, a guy maybe with a little bit more potential to break out. But at the end of the day, I think what you have is a really deep room, a good set of skills, have the ability to run the ball physically inside, have the ability to do those short pitches that Lane Kiffin likes to do, use Ulysses Bentley in the passing game that they've always kind of been able to be really effective with, or at least were last year. So, yeah, I think Ole Miss has the skill sets in this running back room. They have the skill sets everywhere else. So I think, again, you kind of look, this probably getting to the end of what Ole Miss is going to be doing in the portal. But I think if it is the end, that's a really good portal class, a really interesting team, and a team that frankly has the capabilities, has the tools with some of what they did on both sides of the line of scrimmage to go win a national championship. So again, if you like this, if you like the content, please consider rocking with us all through the season, because we can't wait to watch it. I mean, that's a new dimension of fun that I think the portal brings that maybe some people sleep on, is you can have a team like Ole Miss really take your shot, and they're doing it, and I can't wait to watch. I really hope they have a good year, and it kind of pays off for them. So that's all I had for today. So thank you guys for watching. See you later.